All right, hello and welcome to Swing It and Ding It, an iHeartMedia podcast. This is Moose along with Mays and Matthews on this post-U.S. Open week. We are sponsored by Draftkings Sportsbook. More on that when we see the line later, and also All Access GTE. Talking about golf traveling this episode, so that's pretty good timing for that. And also our friends at Comcast Business introducing Ultimate Speed for Business, the fastest internet plans yet from Comcast Business, powering possibilities. We are joined by the one and only Patrick Koenig. You could call him a golf photographer, but that really doesn't do him justice.
No.
Harry, I was thinking about starting a new segment. You remember the old Real Men of Genius? That like we've found some people that have made some really good decisions in life to play more golf, which is what we want to do, which is what our listeners want to do, right? We had Jimmy James on who played the top 100.
That's what came to mind when you say golf genius.
Yeah, even like Robert Bertel, who just decides to move to Dominican and be the pro at Casa de Campo. Like these are smart golf decisions that we're not making right now.
No.
And Danielle, you are. We're not. But welcome in, Patrick Koenig. Welcome to Swing It and Ding It. Thanks for joining us, man.
Hey, thanks for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
So we ask this question a lot. It's kind of become our thing when we talk about the golf journey, right? From where you are now and what you're doing. Like, how did that start? Like, we'll get into all the stuff that you've done, but it's great to just kind of hear how you ended up where you are now along the way, you know?
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned that because it was a campaign just to get one of those Bud Light Real Man of Genius commercials. And so thanks for putting my name in the hat on that.
No problem. I know some people over there, so.
But I mean, I think anybody that's been successful, at least my favorite people that are successful, usually say there's a great deal of luck that involves success in anything, and then you mix that with a little bit of hard work and doggedness, and that's a winning formula. So. Yeah, I mean, it started with me with just loving golf courses so much. It was just like my favorite place on the earth was just to be on a golf course. So I took a lot of photographs of golf courses just because it was a way to kind of bring it with me. And then eventually Instagram came out and so I just this will all keep all my golf photos, so I started doing that. And I was really one of the first people just to be posting golf photography on Instagram. It was new. I was living in San Francisco, the day it came out, everybody knew about it. And so I built a following, and that's really kind of what gave me the momentum to do cool stuff like this, was having a following that I could kind of leverage to share my work. And then before I knew it, people were reaching out to me to buy photographs, and I was selling them. And then in 2018, I said, what if I quit my job and just travel around playing golf? I bet you I could find a way to, make a living in golf. Yes. And I had enough kind of savings at the time to give it a go at that point. And I jumped off, man. It was the best decision I ever did. Purchased an RV and drove around the country playing golf. Played about 400 courses that year just on my own. Just, hey, this is just go and play stuff. And, so it worked out. I ended up kind of jumping from one place to another and becoming a professional golf course photographer. Found a way to string the paychecks together in order to pay rent, and built my business every single year since then as a photographer. And I write. I do social media. I actually just have my first book. We're taking pre-orders for it, which is a cool thing to have my photography published. I've been in all the big magazines and stuff, but to create your own book and to push it out there is a really cool thing. And so
tell us about that. Tell us about what it is and how to get it.
Well, yeah. Well, it's pre-order now. I've got the link in my bio. I've sent out some stuff there through the Back Nine Press. It's called the Golf Courses of New England. And if talking about golf travel, if you know about golf across America, New England has some spectacular golf courses. Doesn't quite get as much love as because of some of its neighbors in New York, and garner a little bit more of the press. But we've got a book coming out that will knock your socks off. Some of the photography, and I'm just going through. We're finishing up the final touches on some of the images, and it's just like, oh man, I love this course so much. It's such a cool photo. It just takes me down memory lane. And for those that have had the chance to play in New England, they know how good it can be. And hopefully in this book, I think does a great job of representing that. So I would suggest you guys pre-order it.
Will do.
Yeah, definitely another golf book that we'll have to add to my collection.
My birthday's coming up, so.
Oh, there we go. We'll have to
There you
get
go.
that to Harry. You mentioned Instagram. You mentioned, playing so many golf courses. I saw a reel on your Instagram. Your golf is behind you. We can see so much swag up on the walls. Talk about that. You said 400 courses last year. Talk about your golfist, the view, and maybe there's one piece of memorabilia you can pick out that's pretty cool. And if there's a story behind it.
Yeah. So the 400 courses was not last year. 400 courses was 2018. Which gave me an idea to set the world record, which I played last year. I played 580 courses, which
again, golf genius.
Yeah. So that's where the big number comes in. But the funny thing is that this is all the stuff. So I purchased an RV and I hung all this stuff up inside the RV. So every time I go to a golf course, I just get like a little trinket, ball mark or some of the things you see behind me. The ball marks were great because they were small. I don't have those on the wall. Otherwise, this wall would be like blacked out. And I just put them all over the RV. So as I'm driving around, I have these little kind of memorabilias from everywhere that I went this past year. And so I turned it into, I brought my memories inside with me. So every time I'm on a podcast or working, I'm surrounded by all these great stories. Because that's what these things are. It's not like a collection thing. It's for memories of stories and people. And I'm looking one over I'm never good at this, over my shoulder, the little golden plate there, which is from my friends in Sri Lanka. I was recently just on a trip with Tean in Sri Lanka. And most people don't think, let's go to Sri Lanka to play some golf. I don't think most people say.
Most people don't know where it is.
It's down off the tip of India. It's an island, and it looks exactly like that little gold plate right there. And they were so friendly. They were so happy to have me out there, and I've got some great photographs. It's a place called Victoria Golf Links, and it's quite their little resort there. They've got a couple like stay and play, so you can stay on the property and play the golf. Wow. And after the general manager afterwards was so grateful that they presented me with this golden plate.
Wow, that's a cool story.
The coolest plate ever. So I was like, it's definitely going in the golf office and happily display it on the wall. Each one of these things is a story like that. So we could go in, if you had a 9-hour podcast, we could probably get through like half of them. And that's not even me. I could bust out the 1,700 scorecards that I've got from every course that I've ever played in my life, and we could go through story time with those as well. So
we're available.
Incredible. Yeah, we're available is right. You talk about that Instagram, it's at PJ Koenig. And then, of course, you got the website, pjkoenig.com, and you're on Twitter as well at Patrick J. Koenig. But I want to get back to the transition that you made out of a sales career to going around the world playing golf and documenting. And as a guy who made a big career change late in life, I went from medical sales into sports radio at the age of 40. Okay, so I know there was trepidation, and I didn't even have any wife and kids. I just had a house and a Harley Davidson that I had to sell. But talk about, any sleepless nights when you were trying to make that move, and did you anything where you're saying, man, did I do the right thing here?
Yeah, I mean, early on, you definitely think that because you're like, boy, I just didn't really have I didn't say I had a job or a plan per se, which made it even more ridiculous. I had a plan, but it was just to play golf all over the country and see what context I could dig up.
That's
I
a plan.
kind of expected I might have to go back to sales.
Yeah.
But it was that like, hey, I'm just going to jump off and throw myself 100% into golf and golf photography that allowed me to realize what my potential was. And then I was cool with hey, I tried this. I gave it 100% and didn't work out. But what I find is that, and I think this is true of just about anybody. So I give this advice all the time is that if you jump off, I feel like you're more resilient than you that you even believe of. You're way more capable than you think. And you're not going to find out until you give it 100% in a try. So that was the point when I jumped off in 2018 and ended up working out. But there is some points where you're like, gosh, man, I got divorced on that first tour, and I was like, what the hell am I doing? Like, I went in to play golf, and now I'm getting divorced. Like, what's wrong with my priorities are so messed up. and and part of that was probably true, looking back is like, yeah. But I followed my passion, and now I've got a great girlfriend, and she's supportive of my last year of 580 courses. So I mean, come on, if she's not the one, what sort of girlfriend allows their boyfriend to play 580 golf courses?
Moose is trying to play golf twice a week.
Yeah, come on. She set the bar so low. You guys, you're like, all right, this guy got a full year. How about just give me a month to do whatever I want?
Yeah.
That's still.
Why do you think we have these type of guests on, Harry, frequently? She
Yeah.
listens to the podcast. I'm just trying to lay some groundwork.
Yeah.
Does she play golf?
No,
she
I'm
doesn't play
broadcasting right
golf.
now from a glass case of emotion down the shore because, we had to go to the beach today because I was off and I had to find a place where I can come record the podcast. So I found a little shout out to Drift Spaces in Ocean City. If you ever need a space to record your podcast, go for it.
Wow.
I wanted to ask you, and we asked this of Jimmy James when he did his book, just the toll it takes on your body. And I'm curious, right? The Troon tour was shorter, right? 2 weeks, 5 countries, where the RGV tour was a full year. Which one was harder? And with both of them, what do you have to do to kind of prepare and stay in shape and not get like beat down by playing this much golf?
Yeah, it's a good question. And the answer is actually pretty simple because I never got tired of golf, which I think which kind of makes me a little bit of a sicko as well. But I never got tired. And I think that's because, at least on the tour, you were met with people that had energy every single day. And it was a new golf course. And so like, even if you wake up, you're like, oh God, we're playing golf again. You quickly were able to run into somebody that was like, oh, hell yeah, let's, the tour is here. They see the bus pulling up. They're all stoked. And then your attitude goes up with them. You follow that energy and that, and just that excitement to play golf every single day. So I never got tired, not once, not sick or tired of golf. Last year, the Troon trip was, that was 2 weeks around the world. And that was a little more challenging because it was shorter time frame, but like the travel was brutal, 16-hour flights and like, you're just nonstop.
Sometimes that's more exhausting than playing the golf is the travel, right?
Yeah.
Any ice baths mixed in, anything that you did, like, get yourself rejuvenated?
I did have a couple breaks. Like, if you play 18 holes of golf, that's what's he doing down here?
Dog check.
Little puppy, he's going to sit on my lap. He's chewing up all my golf books right now.
Oh, man.
So I did have a couple, like when you're playing that much golf, 580 rounds of golf in a single year, 18 holes is like a break,
Right.
18 holes a day. And then by the afternoon, what would actually happen is by the time the afternoon rolls around, I'd be Jones and I'd be like, oh, let's just go play another 18 most of the time. But if sometimes I would have to drive or just to do some photography, just editing photos is kind of a peaceful thing to me. Anybody that's a photographer kind of knows that's a kind of a fun thing to polish up your work and really kind of come up with that gem that you're happy to share. So those things for me were very, meditative or kind of rejuvenating. I had all sorts of activities like that I would do that weren't necessarily golf that got me excited for the next round of golf. And living in that RV was much better than hotels. So if you're in an RV, it's kind of like I got all my stuff there. It's my home. Like you get off the round of golf and then you go into the parking lot and bam, like you're at your house. So that really helps with the whole nonstop 580 rounds of golf in a single year.
What about the golf game? The handicap improved? Did it fluctuate up and down?
You would think, and I'm a single digit, so like any movement wasn't like I went from like 14 to scratch. But I think I started about a 5, and I had been down to scratch before. I started about a 5, and then I got down to scratch. I think it was like 0.2 or something. So I was scratching slightly above it for a hot second. And what happens is you get really good at the short game. Your putting becomes very dialed and you get very good at switching grasses. I mean, I played on every single surface. I'm not playing on PGA Tour where it's like dialed in the same speed every time. It's like, no, these were from like, I don't know if we had any 14s, but maybe most people say 14, like they play them all the time. It's like a once in a lifetime thing that you get to play a 14. But I definitely some speedy greens at some of the nation's best courses around member guest time, and then some ones that were just complete junkers. And then when I would chip, I'd be like, man, if I don't get this up and down, I'm going to be pissed. And that's the mindset of a scratch golfer. Not necessarily pissed, but like I would be shocked. I'd be like, I would just bring my wedge. If it was an easy chip, I'm like, I'm chipping this to a foot or in, and it was pretty reliable. So that's some good stuff right there. That's what scratch golfers do. And I was there. And if I hit it past, I just putt with my wedge. I was not. There's times where you're kind of just going through the motions, and the score is not the most important thing, right? It's the people, it's the places, it's the experience, and I learned to live and breathe that, and that allowed me to. I think I got like maybe once the play. There's one time the play got away from me, and I kind of lost my focus or enjoyment or whatever it was. It was just a different headspace that I was in. It wasn't good. I think I shot 91 was my high score. So I shot away from 67 to 91.
Wow.
Nice range.
Yeah.
Well, 580 courses, Monarch Beach to Chambers Bay, and in an RV. Now, I've gone around the country in an RV and spent a bunch of that time in a repair shop. These things break down. I need to know about that. And I need to know, were you doing the driving all the time, or did you have a driver and you could sort of sleep, take a nap on your way to the next round?
That sounds like luxury, having a driver. No, I drove. I was the only one that drove that thing.
Wow.
All 40,000 miles were me, which would have been, I would have been able to get so much more done had I, had a driver, 3 hours here, 3 hours there every single day. Being able to do social media or edit photos or whatever it is would have been great. But nope, I was driving. And then when I wasn't, then that thing was breaking down too. Holy cow. We got ourselves a lemon right off the bat. It was bad. Right off the bat was when everything started breaking down. It's brand new RV. You drive it off the lot and things just start falling off it. The folks over at Forest River kind of threw this thing together during the COVID rush. Everybody wanted to be an RV owner during COVID. And Forest River's like, let's make them as fast as we can. We don't care about quality anymore. And it was absurd. I've gotten far enough away from it, and I think I've blacked it out in my mind. But I used to be able to just run down the list of things that was wrong with this thing, and it would take like 25. There's an Instagram post where I go through it in like the first month. But it was everything from like the windshield wipers to the electricity to the water to all of the cabinets. I'm missing major things here that we're just breaking down. The door was the front door. The only way in and out of that thing was a pain in the butt. It was improperly installed from the whole way.
Climbing in like Dukes of Hazzard.
There was one time, the steps ripped off. There's like these extending steps that I thought were initially pretty cool. I was like, you open the door, these steps come down. I was like, no, those are not cool. I had them like taped up after they broke for I think maybe at least half the trip. They were secured up just to not have to deal with them. It was like jumping in to the RV, climbed in through the door one time when the whole thing malfunctioned and had to get to a tee time real fast. So people loved that. They loved watching me because they see here's this guy who gets to play all these golf courses. And it was a little bit of like, it's not all roses when you're playing this. Some of it sucks. And, I earned my tee times by traveling and going through all that stuff. So, people loved watching me in misery with that thing. It was by far the biggest obstacle within the first like 3-4 months. It was tough. Eventually we got into, there were a couple periods where it was like operating at like, almost nothing broken. The rule of the RV was that, and I never fixed everything. So I was like, there's nothing to fix on this RV. Because as soon as I would, within an hour, something would break again. It would happen like 5 or 6 times. And so I'm like, all right, I'm always going to leave something broken. It needs to be partly broken in order to operate. And there was a couple stretches where I had like months where it was like, it was humming.
Man. So you mentioned it briefly just about the people you met along the way, right? And I know us even doing this podcast, we've met some incredible people in the world of golf. They seem to gravitate towards that sport. Give me someone or a couple people maybe that stood out to you, that surprised you, or you just had an incredible personal experience along the way.
Yeah. My buddy Sean Kent wins this award every time somebody brings him up. He can't beat this guy. He's loud, he's tall, he's bold. He's a criminal defense attorney out of South Carolina. We played the Coyote Club together. He's got these big yellow pants. The first words he said to me, he was like, "Fuck you." And I mean, and I was like, I can't mimic this guy. He was on the news the other day. He had somebody acquitted of trials, and he quoted Outkast. He was like, to quote the venerable poets Outkast, "This acquittal is forever ever." It means that it's not coming back.
That's amazing.
I mean, this guy's a legend in the city and state of South Carolina, and just in the South. He got murder charges acquitted on the front nine while I was playing with him. He's like, "Isn't that kind of a big deal?" He's like, "Yeah, it didn't happen too often." It's like, does it happen when you're on the golf course? He's like, "No, that's new." And I was like, "Man, I feel like I could stab Steve in our group there and get acquitted on the you're my guy." He's like, "Go ahead." He's a confident, bold guy, and I love Sean. He's a special dude. But to have just one person, is so unrepresentative of the tour. There were so many interesting stories, and people that sadly that I've met and forgotten about. With the 1,500 people that I played with, that's the one thing is I kind of wish you wish like this day was so special. You'd be like, "I want to write about this day. It was so good," but you're like, "Nope, this is just the morning," or like you got to go again. And so some of that it was a whirlwind. It was just this experience. But I tried my best to. There's a book coming out too. That's a tough one to write because I want to make it as great as that year was, so people can buy it and read that and get inspired. And that's going to be a special thing for me when I get that completed. And it encapsulates my first tour as well, which was kind of like more of like, I don't know what I'm doing to like, and now I'm setting a world record. These two tours are really cool. And the writing that I've got so far, I think is like, it's vulnerable. It's honest and it's fun and it's a beautiful book. And so that's one that, through the back nine press as well. A little more difficult to write when you're traveling all over the world, going to Sri Lanka and stuff. But eventually we'll get there, and that book will be on shelves for people to read and hopefully be inspired by.
Do we have a timeline for that?
No, I can't. Because it's like I'm writing the second. I've got the first part done, but then if you're writing a book, like I don't know if you guys have read one or you guys have read a book.
Yeah, I've read one.
Yeah.
Read one.
Never written one.
Writing one's like you have to read. It's like reading the same chapter 10 times because there's, punctuation can make a paragraph sing, and that's just like dots and things here or there. So a couple words, I want it to be my best work and something I'm proud of. That's something I can pull off the shelf when I'm 80 and read again and just be like, wow, that was me, and that was really cool. And there's no typos in this thing. And so that's that. But, within a year or two, I feel like it slows down. Summertime right now, I'm so busy with golf course photography. It's great that people are booking me left and right. And that's my job. So I got to stay busy with that. And, come probably the downtime or as we get into the winter time, as long as those tropical destinations don't call, I can sit down and start writing some book.
Yeah. You mentioned Rhode Island has a lot of appearances in your upcoming book. What about Newport with the U.S. Senior Open coming up? Any imagery, anything of that up in there? No, the Newport Country Club is one that was on my list, but it didn't work out between me and Newport. It's extremely private. It's a tough tee time to get. I did have I had to hand out two of my, so on the RGV Tour 2.0, I had something called the Jabroni Award, and we had it was for people that were out of line. It was uncalled for behavior, and Rhode Island has great golf courses, but I had to hand out two Jabroni Awards.
Oh, hate to do it to Rhode Island.
Wow.
Yeah.
And there was only 5 on the entire tour. So out of the 1,500, I only ran into 5 people that were objectionable.
One of the smallest states in the country, too.
I know.
Right?
The highest jabroni per capita.
Right.
Yeah, insane skew towards Rhode Island. But, the golf is still great there. I was just looking at pictures of Wanna Matanami just before this call, and I was like, oh man, this golf course was so awesome. It's a rainer right on the ocean that nobody even talks about. It's just like these hidden little gems all over the place in New England, and that was one of them. But yeah, the jabronis in Rhode Island.
Well, a totally false statement. There's no jabronis in Philly, which is where we're all from. So let's take it to Philly. We're Philly-based podcast. Talk about the best golf course that you've been to in the Philadelphia area.
Oh man, well, it's got to be. I mean, you guys claim Pine Valley, right? I feel like
PV. We say PV's us. Yes.
Yeah. I mean, that's Pine Valley is going to win. What's the best golf course? And it should by a mile. It's spectacularly good on every single hole. There's really no weak holes at Pine Valley, which I don't think there's another golf course that I would say that about with a straight face. I'd be like, maybe this is, there's a couple here or there. Like you bring up Pebble Beach, one that most everybody knows about. Yeah. And if you played it, you know what I'm talking about. There's a stretch there, right after the high of 7, 8, 9, and you come around in 10 and 11, and there's some kind of ho-hum holes down the stretch. And that's still, I mean, Pebble Beach is a fantastic golf course. And there's just, it's so impossible to build a golf course where you don't say, hey, as a golf course designer, we got to get from A to B here and do this. And like, we're not going to have an all-world hole right here. And almost everybody says that, except for Pine Valley said, no, they're all going to be just that good. So we can go on and on about Pine Valley all day, and you can certainly Pinecast.
I always said like it feels like each hole is like its own golf course. Like I don't know, that sounds really weird, but it when you're on that hole, you don't think about any of the other holes, right? It's just you're playing individual hole. It's incredible.
Number 8, you have the option of 2 different greens. You're like,
Yeah, some of them are like that, and it really is. If you look at that type of golf hole, there's only so many types of golf holes that we can build. They all have little variations, but Pine Valley has a legitimate claim that every one of those holes is the best of its kind, which is insane. It's just that good of a golf course. There's no shortage of good stuff in Philly. I love Rolling Green. I think Rolling Green doesn't get as much love as it should
on this show.
It does on this show.
It's the most mentioned golf course on the show. All of our guests.
Old William Flynn there as my friend Mayday Malone out there. He's a fantastic host at it. Rolling Green spent the night in that parking lot in the back corner there, right off of what's the par 3? Is that the 10th hole?
Well, there's the 3rd hole too. That's
the par 3, the Redan right by the clubhouse. What hole is that? Is that 10?
I think it's 10. Yeah.
Okay.
Coming back up. Yeah.
And anyway, so I spent the night right there. So I love that spot. But I mean, Marion is Marion. Most people know and love that. What were some other ones that I was I remember the holes. It's a Donald Ross. It's got a little donut bunker on the 18th hole. Even more exclusive. It's a real tough. I played Aronimink. Aronimink is really good. But there's another one. The name is eluding me. Which happened.
Come on, Harry.
It's not Philly Cricket.
No, Philly Cricket's another good one. I played Philly Cricket with Jimmy James. He's a part of this story.
Oh, no way. So Jimmy. That's awesome.
I know Jimmy.
I was going to say, if you don't know each other, you two have to connect.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Jimmy and I love that guy. I mean, I've met him a handful of times, and I just love his energy. And
Jeffersonville's a Ross.
No, that's not Jefferson.
He said super exclusive.
Oh, super exclusive Ross. Well, we mentioned Aronimink.
It's a big. Jeez.
You'll just have to shoot us a tweet or a text and let us know.
Drive us crazy.
I know.
If it's not coming to him.
I mean, Riverton.
No, it's
a Ross.
Wait, I could. What
you said with a B? I mean,
that's just it's on the tip of my tongue. That's
not Baltusrol up in.
No, that's the Tillinghast.
No, it's right in Philly. I remember when.
What did you say? Donut. There's a donut bunker.
It's got like a circular donut.
That's what threw me.
A little circular pot bunker on the 18th hole. It's like this uphill 18th hole. There's a couple of really cool par 5s out there.
Lulu.
No.
That's
super exclusive, Harry.
Well, that's exclusive. For guys like me, it is.
Lulu's so fun.
You played it. Yeah.
I played that one on the tour. I don't know what course number.
People are screaming right now listening to this,
I know.
by the way.
Right.
It is, because I remember we played Marion, and it was right there. My host was like, well, Marion's nice, but like you're going to want to play this one. It's probably more difficult tee time to get than Marion. I was like, oh, we should probably go then. I'm gonna pull it up on my website here because this
we need to know, because I'm even sending texts out. I'm like,
I know,
you
I'm
went
Googling
from Philly Cricket to Lulu in one day. Then you went to Lanark to Rolling Green, Aronimink to Ledge Rock, which is up in Berks County.
It's with a G. It starts with a G. It's Gulf Mills.
Oh,
Gulf
okay.
Mills. Oh God. Okay.
I didn't
we
even see
go.
that on here. Okay. Well,
Gulf Mills.
that's right across the street from my house.
It's a great one.
Yeah.
Gulf Mills is spectacular.
Yeah.
I just got to find the tab where you guys.
That's great. Our listeners are going to love you because you just give a shout out to 3/4 of our courses, which is
Right.
awesome.
Yeah.
Just speaks volumes to the
Yeah, we're
Philly
lucky.
golf.
There's so much good. Is White Manor? Is that a Philly course as
That's
well?
close. Yeah, that's down
White
in
Marsh.
Chester County.
Yeah, with the bucket tee markers. I thought White Manor was really special.
I'm playing White Manor tomorrow, actually.
Oh wow.
Gosh, yeah. There's another one, Lanark. Am I saying that right?
Lanark. Yeah.
Lanark. I played that one.
It's really good.
I did Rolling Green and Lanark in the same day.
Wow.
Oh man, just Philly, you can go so deep. And
Yeah.
my friend Tom Coyne is also a Philly guy. So
we're friends with him. Yeah, he's been on this podcast several times.
A couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, Tom is awesome. I caught up with Tom in Sullivan County.
Yeah, you played his course up there, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he's a part of the world record.
We're gonna try to get there. So Danielle's husband Brandon hosts the NEPA Invitational at the Country Club of Scranton, which is spectacular.
Which was on the tour as well. He played that after Hershey.
Yeah, I wasn't messing around.
And it's not too far from Sullivan County. Like
it isn't.
strange.
Yeah, so
we might do that.
Oh, you guys reminded me of a good couple of days there. I did. Country Club of Scranton is in my top. It's in probably my top 10 because the course is fantastic and the people that I had were like just some of the most awesome folks.
Salt of the earth folks.
Yeah, I kept my house and I was like, he came and I liked him so much. I was like, yeah, come and stay in my house while I'm like driving around the country. He came out to Laguna Beach and stayed at my house. But like I loved the energy and the people at the Country Club of Scranton, and like the golf course is super underappreciated by like the golf nerds and the architect type people. I get it and love it, and but it's one of those that
I always said if that were an hour closer to Philadelphia, it would be considered the top course.
Oh yeah, it's a special place. It really is.
Yeah. Oh, and what's the one where they just played the U.S. Women's Open?
Lancaster.
Yeah,
Lancaster.
You gotta say it. You gotta say it correctly.
Yeah,
or Harry will come for you.
That's a funny story. So it was. I played out there my first tour in 2018, and I hadn't really heard of it, and most people had never heard of it. And I was like, "This place is insanely good." It's like, why are we not screaming this place? I was like, "Oh, this is definitely a hidden gem." He's like, "Well, we got the U.S. Women's Open in like 5 years. People will hear about it then." And I was like, all right. And it's true.
That?
If you watched any golf or paid attention to golf that week, that course got rave reviews, as it should. I mean, it's one of those. It's just a peach.
Well, now I know you raised $40,000 some odd dollars for the first tee through this whole venture, which is really cool. I wanted to get that out there because we're big fans of the first tee here in Philadelphia as well. But I wanted to just ask you one quick last one. What is it about golf for you that just makes you love it so much? I mean, can you put your finger on it?
Yeah, I wish there was one thing, but I think that's the thing about golf is it's not one thing. It's there's so many things to love about it. It kind of overwhelms you. And it's changed for me. What makes me so happy? I mean, it could be just competition. It could be kind of the feat of achieving something that seems so difficult to do, hitting that tiny ball in the hole. It could be friendship. It could be exercise. It could be religion. It could be photography. It could be travel. All these different things that golf is just like in spades does a fantastic job of achieving. With just the sport is so good. And for me, I really love it for the lessons. I start looking at it like, what's the one thing that I love the most? But like one of the things that's golf has given me that I cherish the most, aside from a career, is made me a better person. And that's something that when I was a little kid, I kind of heard that or saw that was possible, and I was like, I don't know how that's going to happen. How is that going to happen? But if you want to stick in golf, there's certain things you have to do well. Like if you want to be successful or enjoy it, like you have to be honest. You have to be honest with yourself. You have to learn anger control, anger management, which was a problem for me as a little kid. I wrecked some rounds of golf just being pissed off, and that doesn't happen anymore. And that's so cool. And you know what that. And I don't get mad in life. Like, I mean, everybody gets mad, right? You get mad, something happens, it doesn't go your way, and you get pissed. But I know how to deal with it. And it's like, that's such a blessing that's made my relationships better. And it's just made my life better. And so it's just like, I owe so much to golf. And so like when you hear people talking about what golf has given them that have been successful in it, it's like, I understand now what it is that you can gain from a sport. And you only really do that when you apply passion and just delve into it 100%. And so, and I think just even the casual player can realize that golf kind of can make you a better person in some ways. And so I am the person I am today, largely because of golf. And I think anybody that's been around me can kind of testify to that.
Tremendous. Well, this was a blast. We could do it.
We could go on for more hours.
I've had somewhere like, and they just keep going, and we'll be on for like an hour and a half, and I'm like, I'm glad we took a little tour of Philly. That was fun.
Yeah, that was really cool.
The tour of Philly, a little bit of New England, even the Jabronis in Rhode Island. Those guys they're a story if nothing else, and so it was fun to share a little portion of my journeys with you guys. And so thank you very much. Pizza.
If you get back this way, let us know.
Pizza says thanks.
Biggie, say bye to pizza.
Pizza and Biggie are here.
He's like, what a podcast.
Let's go. Great job.
They hung with us for the whole thing. Pretty cool.
Yeah.
Very cool. Patrick,
thank you very much, Patrick.
Make sure you check him out. Follow him. Great story. We appreciate you sharing with us, man. Thanks a lot. Great talking.
Hey, thanks for having me on, guys. That was fun.
Thank you.
You got it. All right, let's take a quick break. We'll be right back. All right, welcome back to Swing It and Ding It. Great talking to Patrick Koenig, man. I mean, we just scratched the surface. Let's face it.
We could have talked for hours.
Yeah, I mean,
he's making me feel bad though, because I still get angry on the course.
Me too.
I haven't figured that part out yet, which maybe I can have his words, echo a little bit in my head and try to control it a little bit more. But I still can let one hole ruin the next three.
Yeah. Well, it's fun when we couldn't think of Golf Mills. It's fun when you're like trying to think of a course and giving clues and
Yeah, I couldn't figure it out because I've never been on it. Shout out to anity listening that can get us on Golf Mills because it's right across the highway from my house.
Yep. Well, it was great talking to him. We talked about iconic places. Pinehurst #2 qualifies for that for sure. And what a U.S. Open that we got to see. Bryson DeChambeau, the people's champ, wins the 124th U.S. Open at Pinehurst #2 for his second major. You have all the things, the SMU, the Payne Stewart. I mean, the signature shot, the par save on 18, 55-yard sand shot to 4 feet. Obviously, the other side, you have Rory, who's up 2, who bogeys 15, 16, 18, missing 2 par putts inside 4 feet. This, to me, this Sunday of a major had everything that you want in it to keep you entertained, and it certainly did. And it's funny because we, all of us last week were saying that we just didn't feel like this was a Bryson type event just because of the way the course was set up. But no one told Bryson that. No, that's for sure, because he did what he had to do and got it done.
Yeah, that's one of the many things that stands out to me. I mean, I was fading him because I didn't like him on that golf course. Shows he can play any golf course now. You plot Bryson on any of the golf courses that Patrick Koenig has played, and he will go shoot a number. I mean, the guy's just incredible. He just adapts. I couldn't take my eyes off of him, Moose, and I was rooting so hard for him. And I know NBC and Faxon says the whole world's rooting for Rory. My wife and I looked at each other on the couch. We're like, we're not. Like, I couldn't be cheering for Bryson DeChambeau hard enough on Sunday. And it was just brilliant drama. The fact that, they were tied at 6 under after Rory makes that bogey from inside 3 feet on 16. And I'm like, wow, he's got, he was up 2 holes prior to that. You're thinking, here comes the coronation. Rory's going to, do the peacock walk, right up the 18th fairway. And it's, it's going to be great. He's back, his first major in 10 years, and all the stories, will come out of that. And no, It's just unbelievable. You can't script. That's why sports is the greatest, like reality television, which we've been witnessing on networks since what is it? Survivor came out. I guess that's what started all that. That's all scripted crap. I mean, sports is the ultimate reality show, and it was just unbelievable. I can't wait to watch him, again at the Open Championship here in a couple of weeks.
Oh, I thought you were going to say the Olympics. No.
Right. That's a whole other
there.
story.
Oh yeah.
My goodness.
I mean, come on.
Seriously.
What are we doing? What are we doing? Well, I got to. This is a great segue into this. I mean, of course, it was on the Live social, but they said thoughts on this, just with like the eye emoji, like looking to the side. They're like, is Bryson the best in the world? So they have, pardon me, Bryson Masters T6, PGA Championship second, U.S. Open first. Then we have Scotty Scheffler, the Masters first, PGA Championship T8, U.S. Open T41. We'll talk Scotty in a little bit. Xander Masters 8th, PGA Championship first, U.S. Open T7. Morikawa Masters T3, PGA Championship T4, U.S. Open T14. Wyndham Clark Masters cut, PGA Championship cut, U.S. Open T56.
Yeah. What are we doing?
So they're saying,
what are we doing
is he
here?
the best in the world? Yet we give him the snub on the Olympics. I was going to ask you guys, like, what do we think of Bryson? Are we fans of Bryson? Is he now a man of the people? Harry answered that question. He gained 25,000 Twitter followers, 25,000 YouTube subscribers, 100,000 Instagram followers, and his Google search interest is up 250%. So Harry's on board. Yep. The rest of the world's on board. Moose, are you a Bryson fan? I'm on board.
Listen, I've been a Bryson fan. I love the whole distance thing. I actually know a couple young ladies that even slid into those DMs after watching Bryson.
Oh, yeah.
So I don't know if he still knows what a woman is. I think he's trying to figure that part out, but he's got everything else figured out.
He's got a girlfriend, apparently.
I thought he did.
Nobody knows who it
curious.
is.
That was my Instagram search. I was looking through because I
a while back. And what I do is, it for a living has a lot to do with people and reading people and knowing people. And, for a while, I'm like, is this an act? Right? Like,
yeah.
I'm still not convinced it isn't.
I turned the corner. Well, first of all, listen, he's quirky, he's strange. That's just
he's
who
a
he
weird
is.
Cat. Yeah.
But you don't sit around for 2 hours and let everyone touch the trophy if you really don't want them to, right? Like there's very few people that would have done that. And then he goes back to the neighborhood where he's staying. He goes out in the middle of the street. To me, you can't fake that, right? You can fake a little bit of it, like, hey, I'm here for the people. But when you're doing it for that long, when you're telling people, you literally look out to a crowd of thousands of people and say, stick around, everyone's going to touch this trophy. Like no one else was going to do that in that moment. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we know Rory would not have done that at all, but we also know we're looking at two different complete people, two different age brackets, everything. Like Bryson rolls around. The PGA Tour didn't let him roll around with that social media marketing team. That's why, part of the reason he went to Live. He's like, look, let's do this. But I feel like somebody on Live was like, come on, if you guys, like, if this happens, if one of you guys win this, you need to do A, B, and C.
Well, what they said too, they said that the fact that he's playing on this team, they said these guys will hold him accountable and like call him out on his BS, where before he was like a lone wolf, right? He was different and he stayed in his own lane. I think having people around him in Live where they could go, come on, you goofball, what are you doing? Like breaking stones and like the normal stuff that a team does. I think that's kind of humbled him and made him more likable and just more relatable. I mean, listen, he gets the engagement side. He gets the golf in 2024. He knows how to, right. I mean, playing with Paige, playing with the good guys, like he gets that part of it. And his
whole
game,
YouTube page, like he's not just a golfer. He's an entertainer.
But he's like, remember when Ryan Howard was up to bat, you had to watch it. Right. It's like when Bryson's hitting a golf ball, you have to see what he's going to do.
Yeah.
Just the way
even that. Let's go to that. He says loud enough to his caddy, like, kind of want to hit driver here. Don't know if I should. And then you hear the gallery like, boo, like whatever.
Oh, he plays up to it.
Like, sorry,
like
guys.
he's been wrestling.
Like,
oh,
he knows what he's doing.
Oh, totally.
No doubt.
No
doubt.
He has the marketing, spot on.
Yeah. So let's go through let's go through the top real quick. So you obviously Bryson with the win. Rory Cantlay, who was hanging around,
had a good week.
Best finish in a major or 30 majors that he's played. Insane.
It's interesting because when you look at the final round scores, right? Bryson was +1, Rory was -1, Cantlay was even, Finau was -3, so he jumps up to third. Pavone +1.
Pavone's legit.
Matsuyama, he is. Russell Henley was
That was
minus
one of my
3,
picks.
goes T7, right?
Yeah,
Xander goes T2 on a Sunday, gets himself up in the T7. How about that Sam Burns making an appearance at T9,
Right?
going 3
Just
under
creeps up there.
on the final day. And then you have Koepka, right, who gets 26, tied with Shipley, which we got to get that guy on. He's amazing. Cam Smith, who I loved, who a lot of people like, 32nd. And we talked about Scheffler, 41st.
What was Tony's final round score?
Finau?
Yeah.
3 under.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, I was rooting for him pretty hard at the end too. I mean, he's just such a likable guy.
He's just got to get that. I say it every week. If he got that killer instinct and wanted to smash people, I don't know if anyone could beat him. He just doesn't seem to have that. Like,
no,
and he leaves. He walks off the green. And he goes, I tried my best, but I got my kids, and this is the best. Like he's just he's so nice.
Yeah. How about Daniel Berger with a T21?
Yeah, I had him in a top 10. I liked him, but he didn't quite get there. Yeah,
close.
Yep.
And I think one of the stars of the week was
Johnson Wagner.
Golfers is Johnson Wagner. I mean, this guy just week after
second
week.
bunker shot. Did you see that?
It was amazing. I mean, that was just unbelievable television when he's in there, and then Bryson
comes out
and he coaches him through the second one. It was
to like a foot and a half.
Well, it's funny because Michael Kim, who's great on Twitter, he was the first one I saw. Like as soon as he hit that shot, he goes, I can't wait to see Johnson Wagner in that bunker later on tonight. Like just everyone was like waiting for it to happen.
Yeah.
But he tweeted it right away as soon as Bryson won, which was awesome.
Yeah. And Bryson I think Bryson started a new strokes gained statistic. According to Brandel Chambly, we need strokes gained, good breaks. Did you hear that during the broadcast? I was jotting all these little things down that were being said. It's just amazing that Rory McIlroy chose to blow off the media that does nothing but support and cheer him on after the match. He didn't show up there with his Omega watch and go up and scratch his head with the hand with the watch on it like he does when he plays well. What a baby, if you ask me. He had to answer 2 questions.
We're going to see it on Netflix. We're going to see it on Netflix.
Oh, that's the thing. That's what I'm wondering. That's what I'm wondering. And Nick Cale actually brought this up to me. He said, I think it was all done purposely for Netflix.
That was my thought too.
And I'm thinking, that you might be right about that.
I wish Officer Gillis was around with Rory speeding out of that parking lot.
Oh, exactly. Right. Where was the police when we need
Did you guys see though, like the fake dummies hanging on all the cars early on in the week?
Yeah.
Scotty's like, I mean, I didn't see it, but Xander told me about it.
Somebody showed up at a member guest, I think.
Yeah, in Louisville.
Yeah.
In Louisville.
Or Louisville, according to Scotty Scheffler. He calls it Louisville.
Oh, God.
That's
Yeah,
too
but I mean,
funny.
listen, an incredible U.S. Open. Harold, what'd you think about Pinehurst? But actually, there's so much said about, the course all week.
Well, I mean, it's absolutely brutal. I don't know if I'd want to play it, but prior to Sunday's drama-filled finish, I think a lot of the story would have been about Pinehurst being borderline unfair and sort of making the golf tournament not that much fun to watch. And then we got Sunday, and all that stuff's off the table now. See, you know what I mean?
Harry,
Like
hole 5 on Sunday, Rory's second shot looked like he was going to have a look at Eagle.
He made
and
bogey.
I'm like, let's go.
And he made bogey.
Rolled off the green, just misses the bunker, down into that like native area.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, huh? How
same thing happened to him on 15 on the par 3. He hit the green, but he did it with an 8-iron apparently, or a 7-iron, I think. Or no, I think it was 7-iron. He should have hit 8 because he would have had more loft, and it might have held the green because that's what Bryson did. He held the green. Rory goes off into that native area, makes a chip, a really nice chip, but it runs too far past, missed the comebacker, makes bogey. Yeah, brutal. I'd shoot 160 on that golf course. I think.
I said to Brad, I'm like, I'd shoot 100 and something. He goes, on the first 3 holes.
Exactly. Yeah, that second hole was brutal.
Yeah,
That's brutal.
Yeah,
brutal. Danielle, great U.S. Open though. I mean, everything you want.
It presented well on television.
Had the drama, had everything. Yeah,
it did.
It really did. I love the look of the golf course.
Yeah,
I just don't know that I want to play it. I'd rather just watch others play it.
Yeah. Those green complexes scare me.
Oh,
I struggled enough at Green Valley with their green complexes.
There you go.
Talking about the green complexes at Scranton too. We were talking.
Oh
about.
Yeah,
See those
I've putted off the green there.
Oh yeah. There's elephants buried under a few of those.
Yeah. Well, how about one of the earlier days? Excuse me. I think it was Friday. Koepka, I forget what hole it was. It might have been 7. Putted from like 30 yards off the green, putts it up onto the green, and it rolled into a bunker. He made 7.
Yeah.
I mean, Finau and Oberg. Oberg was having a great week until I think it was Saturday, where both he and Finau made double or triple on the same hole. It might have been 13. They putted from off the green, went off the other side. I mean, and they're making triple. I mean, these
then
are
you
the
got to
best
be
players in the
questioning
world.
every shot after that, right?
Yeah, right. What do I do here?
Yeah.
How do I get this back?
Yeah. Well, great stuff. Looking forward to the Open. Danielle, tea. You have some tea for the folks?
You guys might have to cut me off at some point. At first, I was like, "There's not too much tea, right?" But I was like, "Oh, there kind of is a decent amount of tea." We'll keep it with just roll it from the U.S. Open right into it. And we talked about Neil Shipley. It was so funny though because I had to Google it because the broadcast kept calling him Nate. I was like, "Wait, is it Neil or Nate? Why do we keep saying this?" But Neil Shipley, I was like, "Wow, this guy is going to have a cash flow." He low AM honors at the Masters and then the U.S. Open. I thought it was pretty cool watching him and I'm drawing a blank right now.
Luke Clanton.
Yeah,
Luke
go back
Clanton.
and forth.
Yeah.
They were going neck
Good battle.
and neck and paired together. Like that was pretty cool. I thought there were so many just different cool things to watch about the U.S. Open. But Neil Shipley, OSU grad, bachelor's in quantitative finance, math and econ, master's in data analytics.
Wow.
He finally turned pro. I'm wondering if he's going to be like Bryson 2.0, but maybe actually like, for lack of better words, like a smarter version. And I'd like to see how meticulous he is with his stats.
Yeah.
But he turned pro and he's making his pro debut in British Columbia this week on the PGA Tour of Americas. So interested to see and watch his career, see how he plays on that tour, if he gets some Corn Ferry status and then maybe even some exemptions. Because now that he's a grad, he's open to exemptions. So
now is that the tour where they combine the Latino America and the Canada?
And Canadian.
Yeah,
Yep.
okay.
Exactly. Yeah. So yep, that's exactly what it is. And that's
Cool.
what he made his pro debut. So keep an eye on him this week to see how he plays on that. This is just general, but Jack Nicklaus spotted at the Panthers game. It was pretty cool. If you look, you can see his video of him hitting the thing and
just watching the peas,
wearing the sweater. Yeah.
Yep. Florida loving it. So
and I saw a picture. I don't know if you saw this, Danielle, but the guy sitting down in front of where Jack was standing in that suite looked like Jason Bale. I don't know if it was him, but if not, it's a doppelganger of Jason Bale somewhere in Florida.
Okay. I don't know. I mean, if Jason, if you're listening and if you went and didn't send me content, you're in trouble, especially if you were sitting that close to Jack.
I'll send you the picture.
Yeah, send it to me here. We mentioned Rory. Rory withdraws from the Travelers. He's, quote, taking a few weeks away from the game to process everything and get ready to defend at the Scottish Open and Open. So we won't see him. We saw little bits and pieces all over of social. He's back with his wife and him and their daughter were out at breakfast at a local place around here. So seems like they're back together. Everything's good. And we'll see in a couple weeks. We are now 1 month away from the Open at Royal Troon. So we'll see with that. Talking about pro debuts, John Daly II will make his pro debut on the Corn Ferry Tour this week. So that's another guy I'm interested to watch out for. And wondering what his apparel will look like. Do you think he's going to have some like loudmouth pants on or something like that?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I hope so.
Do they still make loudmouth pants?
I'm not sure. I know I have a loudmouth bag that I got
Do
back
you?
in 2020. It was given to me. So I'm not sure if they're still making the apparel.
When Brandon won like his high school, like I think like the state championship or something, he wore like red and white checkered loudmouth pants, and his high school still has them like hanging when you walk in.
my God.
It's
Nice.
hilarious. We'll have to see if we pull a photo up for that and throw that on social. This is a new rule that came out. PGA Tour players will now get a 15-minute buffer window to make any changes to their scorecard without being disqualified. Some people said that's off of the whole Spieth
The Spieth rule. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's interesting. But it's like, wait, you need 15 minutes after you sign your scorecard to like think about if something was incorrect. Like, I don't know. You have one job, like write down your score after.
Or to go to the bathroom.
Yeah.
As in Spieth's case.
Yeah, but I mean, if you're sitting there, Spieth, write down your score. Why do you need 15 minutes post round? Like, what else are you doing in there? So, yeah, that's essentially all the tea we have.
All right, beautiful. We are under a month until our outing, and one of our great sponsors who's always there is Rita's. So make sure you head to Rita's to try the new Kool-Aid Tropical Punch Ice. Oh, yeah. Try it in a 5-layer gelati or an ice blender drink, available only for a limited time. So get to Rita's quick. Be cool. Go to Rita's.
That's going to be stuck in my head now. Be cool.
Yeah.
Thank you, Rita.
Yeah. My favorite thing at Rita's is the mango gelati.
You got to get the vanilla ice cream.
Yeah,
at the
that's
bottom.
so good.
Or root beer, vanilla gelati.
Yeah.
It was my niece's birthday. She turned on the 17th, and my mom took all the kids to Rita's. They were all like, "We want to go to Rita's." It's now summertime, and that's where everybody wants to go.
That's right. Thank you to Rita's. They'll be out there at our outing. And of course, we head to the Travelers Championship. This is my memory of the first time ever watching golf. I had my uncle and my grandfather always watched golf. My uncle worked for Travelers, so I remember connecting the dots to seeing the umbrella. And it was the first time, like a young moose, like
a young moose,
7 or 8.
Horns not fully grown out yet.
No, not at all, not at all. But I mean, the signature event, no cut, a great field. Right. So it's cool not having a big letdown after such a massive event in the U.S. Open. And Harry, as we go through the course, of course, TPC River Highlands in Cromwell, Connecticut, they say it's one of the easier courses on tour.
Yeah, birdies aplenty at this event. And as opposed to Pinehurst number 2, where I say I really kind of wouldn't want to play it, maybe, I would love to play at this place. This place looks like a whole lot of fun. TPC River Highlands, par 70, 6,835 yards, very short for PGA Tour standards. Pete Dye and Bobby Weed combined on this design, and it has a couple of different. The back 9 is thrilling. Okay, that's really all you need to see. Come on Sunday, because it includes the river holes, which are 11 through 14 right along the Connecticut River, and then you get the Bermuda Triangle, 15, 16, and 17, and the finishing hole in the 18th hole amphitheater is just a great. There's a lot of drama. I mean, there's been so many great finishes at this golf tournament, dating back to, Paul Azinger chipping in to win back in 1989. Harris English had an 8-hole playoff back in 2021 and finally closed things out on the 18th hole. You had Nota Begay hitting a big putt to beat Calcavecchia back in 2000. Olin Brown back in 98. Jordan Spieth from the bunker back in 2017, I think it was, to beat Daniel Berger in the playoff. There just seems to be a lot of playoffs and a lot of drama with this event. That's why I love it so much. My favorite hole is the 15th hole. It's the drivable par 4, 296 yards with water all down the left side of the fairway in the green. And the green's pushed up with an open front, but it runs off steeply on the back tier all down into the hazard. You got a pot bunker short and right. Guys, deciding which kind of clubs, to hit into there. Are they going to lay up? Are they going to go for it? That's going to be great on Sunday. The 16th hole is a par 3 all over water, only 171 yards, not very long, but it's got a very shallow green with bunkers left and right and a chipping area behind. You'll see a lot of guys going over the green and chipping back, trying to make a 3. 17th hole, we got a raised tee, 430-yard par 4 with the fairway having water all down the entire right side. The green has no bunkers and a bunkerless green, but there's also no rough between the fairway and the water hazards. You'll see a lot of balls, hitting that right side that'll end up in the hazard. But it's a great drama risk reward hole. The 18th hole, par 4, 445, with a big bank on the right side and a large fairway bunker left. Uphill approach shot, not a very long hole, but you got to hit this green or you put it in the front right bunker like Jordan Spieth did back in 2017. And that's a makeable bunker shot. But it should be really, good drama after we had incredible drama last week. I'm anticipating another good watch on a hot Sunday afternoon. It's going to be freaking 95 degrees. Ooh. Sunday, I'll be out early playing golf, hopefully get in before it gets too hot, and then sit inside in the AC and watch the pros.
Watch some good golf.
Yeah.
We have the PGA Tour number 1 Michael Thorbjornsen. I can never say
Thorbjornsen,
that.
yeah.
Yeah, you say that for me, Harry. You got that.
Thorbjornsen from Stanford, right?
Yeah, and he's
Yeah.
paired with the 2023 PGA Tour U #1 Ludwig. So that should be
Oh,
pretty
yeah,
cool.
there's a good
Watch
one.
it. Yeah, right. Good pairing there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you had Keegan in 23, Xander in 22, Harris English in 21. And when you look at the board, right, with our friends at DraftKings as we get set to see the line, Scheffler at 360, Xander 750, Colin at 1200, Oberg 1400, Victor Hovland at 1800. Hitting the links this weekend like you are, Harry. The
Yeah.
pros are. Be right there with them. Get in on all the tee to green action at DraftKings Sportsbook. From the first tee shot on Thursday through the final putt on Sunday, DraftKings Sportsbook has you covered with same-game parlays, live betting, odds boosts, and so much more. It's super easy for first-timers to get started. Try betting on something simple like picking a golfer to win. Go to DraftKings Sportsbook app, select your team, and place your first bet. It's that simple. We talked about some of the lines, right, with that Scheffler number. Not as short as last week, but pretty short at 360. And if you're new to DraftKings, you got to check this out. New customers bet $5 and get 150 in bonus bets instantly. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use code DING. That's code DING for new customers to get 150 in bonus bets instantly when you bet just $5. Only on DraftKings. The crown is yours. A couple guys I like here, not a lot here. Cantlay plays really well after majors at that 2,000 number. He's got a T11 here in 21, a T13. He shot a 61 in round 3 last year in this event. And then Brian Harmon, who I hate watching, but I will not. I'll bet with my heart and not with my head, or vice versa.
He loves this place.
Yeah, T5 and 21, T2 and 23, 4 top 10s. Plays really well here. So I'm sticking with those two guys.
It's going to be interesting this week because of what you had last week. You know, high drama, really big, important event at a really tough golf course. What some of these guys have this week. Like, I know it's a no-cut event, which is great, but Morikawa has played 6 of the last 7 weeks. Okay, he's been playing brilliantly. 3 top 5s. His worst finish is a 16th. But
Wow.
I mean, 6 in 7 weeks. I mean, that's a lot of golf and high intensity golf. So I'm curious to see what he brings to the table. Hovland has 5 top 25s this season, but only 1 top 10. That was a 3rd in the PGA. He's due for a breakout week. I'm thinking it could happen this week. And Corey Connors is a cut machine. His last missed cut was the 23 U.S. Open. So it's been a year.
Wow.
And in that time, he's got 5 top 10s and 11 top 20s. That guy has to be on your fantasy team. I'm taking him in a top 10 at plus 275. I'm taking Connors also over Burns at minus 120. Your guy Harmon, I like in a top 20 at plus 125. Xander, you mentioned won this back in 22. I'm debating him for one and done because I'm running out of weeks. But I'm also thinking Russell Henley. Only missed cut since last July was at the Players. He's had 5 top 10s, including 3 top 5s this